It's Northside Radio. It's just gone 3:02, and we've been speaking with Robert Manning. Robert is a candidate for local government office for the by-election, Sailors Bay ward by-election. It's one of the four wards with Willoughby Council. And of course, Robert, we were talking about your ward. There are, of course, if elected, although you are chosen legally as part of the cluster of representatives for that ward, there's a bigger picture involved as well. Bigger picture of issues that will be affecting Willoughby as a whole. What has led you to the course of putting your hand up for that? This is your first campaign?
It is, absolutely, yeah. The first campaign I've run as an independent candidate.
Okay. And so what has led you to take this path?
As cliched as it sounds, I believe if a community is going to work, you have to work in the community.
Yeah.
And I've seen things like the Willoughby Area Action Group do good work in the area or in relation to the Channel 9 development recently, and as I said, there's the Northbridge Plaza, which is a very big issue for the residents of Sailors Bay, but it affects the greater Willoughby city, so it's important to get involved there.
And although the Northbridge Plaza issue is it's perhaps a hybrid, it's of acute relevance to that ward, but it's got a broader application as well. So do you have a strong take on your approach to that topic?
Yeah, certainly the council have been working with the developer to put forward three options. One is to simply pave the car park, the other one is to turn it into a two-level car park, and the third option, and the one that seems to be widely supported by a lot people outside of Sailors Bay, is to put 200 residential apartments and a multi-storey car park there. I met with the residents on Thursday night in the Meet the Candidates,
yeah,
and I put my position that I'm strongly opposed to that sort of level of development happening on the site.
All right. And is there, when you say that level, is there a different level that you would at which you would think there is merit, or it's just any sort of development that's intense?
No, I think we do have a development control plan, sometimes referred to as a DCP, mm-hmm. and there's development that can take place within that won't require rezoning or reuse deemed on land, and I think anything that fits within the DCP should be considered as the first option that we should pursue.
If it didn't proceed at anything like that level, of the third level, how would you address the pressures from the state government and in turn federal, it's not just state government, to have more accommodation, more housing and the like? Is there an alternate place for it?
Well, I think, when it comes to housing, there's a number of issues that we need to address. We've got to look at low-cost housing or affordable housing for the emergency services and support people who live and work in our community. And we've also got to look at what we do for older living, so the 55 plus. So there are other options, but I do think the Northbridge site can take some of that development, just not 200 apartments.
But you say maybe something smaller, like 100, or is it?
I'm not sure of the number, but as I said, if it fits within the DCP right now and it doesn't need changes to the DCP or rezoning, then we certainly can look at it. And there are other areas throughout the city and the ward. We're seeing a lot of development happening up here in Chatswood itself.
And is it thought that whether it's a good idea at all or not, is it thought that the 200 units will fit within the DCP?
No, currently you'd have to make changes.
You'd have to make changes. Okay. Is there a number that does fit within the DCP?
The number that would fit within the DCP have to fit within a 4-storey approved height limit.
Okay.
So based on what the developers have said at the public meetings, we would probably only get to about 50% of what they say they need to be able to build the car park.
Okay. And are you reasonably comfy with that, or is that still too big?
No, I think, as I said, I'm very comfortable with where the rules are set, and you play within the rules. Then there's not a lot that a local councillor has to do to look after the interests of the residents, other than to make sure that the impost on traffic is not too great. But
is there a likely spot? Let's just say that happened. Is there a likely good spot within the local government area for a similar sized 100 unit development at all?
Well, I certainly think it's worth looking at, and you know the one thing that I will say is that we don't need to rely upon council land for that housing. There's lots of private land and people who want to develop it, and I think the DCP is a good starting document to say to people, if you want to develop your land, you've got a large block of, you know, say 750 to 1,000 square metres, and you want to put, you know, it's got a single family dwelling on it now, and you want to put 2, 3 or 4 on it. That all fits within the DCP, and that starts to increase the volume of housing available in the city.
Apart from that, are there other particular local issues or large issues that you think will be on your mind and the mind of other councillors if elected?
Well, certainly there are a number of issues. Some of them are less actioned than others. There's one particular one which a lot of people don't know about, and that's the degradation or destruction of middens around the shoreline of the harbour.
Right.
So in areas like Sugarloaf Bay and Sailors Bay, there are a number of cultural sites of importance that the Aboriginal Heritage Organisation have identified, and they're middens, and that's basically collections of shell and other crustaceans and evidence where the first Australians lived around the harbour. And what we're seeing now is larger and larger pleasure craft moving at some speed through that area, and great washes coming in and actually just eroding those sites.
That's not a topic that's had a lot of publicity. Are you getting support from other councillors and others in the community as you talk about it?
I am, and in actual fact, I met with John Vaughan, who's going to be the world's first vexillographer, and the word is going to be put into the Macquarie Dictionary in July. And a vexillographer is somebody who's got a keen interest in flags, and John runs Australiana Flags in Northbridge, and together with him and the North Shore Times, we've got the Aboriginal Heritage Organisation working with us. We've approached the local member, and this is just in the period that I've been campaigning.
It's a big ask for you and your fellow candidates. It's a big budgeting of time and resources. Are you looking forward to that challenge? I'd say the same to all candidates.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
I really do admire those who put their hands up and are prepared to take on this role. They've explained to you, have they, the benefits of office? The helicopter's not available for some time.
No, the benefits of office, I think, are the reward you get for doing good for the community, wanting to leave the place in a better state than what I found it. As far as, it took me a long while to come to the decision to stand. I've got a son who's 14 and a half, and he's now gained a lot more independence, so that gives me a bit more time. He's doing things like cadets and extracurricular activities at school, so instead of coaching him at sport or playing sport myself or coaching teams that I've played in, I now have a lot more free time to devote back to the community in other ways, and council seem to be the one that I can actually start to make a real difference in a number of areas.
I think competitive sport and bringing up a teenage son will probably be the best methods to train for it.
Absolutely, and involvement in any club, you know, organisations have politics.
Really?
And I believe so.
Okay.
I tend to steer clear of it. I like to think of myself as a collaborative, cooperative worker who will listen to all sides and then make an informed decision and vote with the facts and not emotion. So I've learned a lot over the 47 years I've been on the planet, and I think I've got a lot to give back.
Well, it's been a pleasure to talk to you this afternoon. Good luck to you and your fellow candidates in the by-election. The details of the voting again?
So voting is on the 14th of June. Booths open at 8 a.m. and are open until 6. And they're at the Northbridge Public School, the Northside Baptist Preschool on Sailors Bay Road, the Castle Crowd Community Centre, Chatswood Willoughby Uniting Church in Glen Street, and also the Willoughby Public School.
And despite what you'd like to do with electronic voting, it won't be in time for next week, so you will have to go about it. It's compulsory.
It is compulsory, and it is a $50 fine if you don't vote. If you aren't going to be available on the 14th to vote, you can pre-poll at 1:35 to 1:45 Sailors Bay Road between 8:30 and 5 o'clock Tuesday through Friday.
Fantastic. All the best, and thanks for joining us here in the studio at Northside Radio.
Thank you very much, Richard.
And another great station supporter, Jeff Duff. He has supported us in our fundraising events. We love to play his music. Another great Australian artist. Love is in the air.
Thank you.